HBIBWD.
Pretenders were weird, weren't they? Just these doofy looking guys and monsters that split down the side for shitty little robots that turned into crap all to hide in. Some of the designs were good though. Some of them were anyway. And that's where this guy comes from. Legacy Core Class Iguanus. Now, clearly I don't have the G1 toy to compare him to, but I'll just say that Lizard Lug A is the best, most definitive version of this design. And if you just shut up a minute, I'll be able to tell you why. Just look at the boy, all cast out of some juicy blackcurrant starburst purple plastic, begging to be chewed up by a younger sibling or swallowed whole by yourself, you degenerate. Delete your search history. That sculpting and deco though really captures and modernises that original 80s look. That gorgeous golden red armour, those little feet, and those piercing yellow eyes on that grinning reptilian mug. Sure enough to trigger a fight or flight in any conspiracy nut. Yes, there are a few missing paint opportunities on the tail and pauldrons. Don't quite bring it to 100% G1 accuracy. But if you were that bothered about paint application, you'd be working at B&Q instead of sat on your arse eating quavers in your underwear. He's dead poseable. Can get him into all sorts of poses from your favourite Fortnite and TikTok dances if that's your thing. Helps massively by a ball jointed head, full waist rotation and ball jointed feet with a great ankle tilt that just won't quit. All of which are about as common in the core class as me actually taking advantage of the unlimited salad bar at Pizza Hut. Unlike the Pretenders toy, and unlike me on a Friday night after a few Jack and Cokes, he doesn't have another fella inside of him. But he can transform, and he will, into this alright looking Cybertronian motorbike. Just fold the back flap over, do some twisting and plop his hands and feet onto those cranberry wheels, and look, the tail even becomes this little saddle or seat. According to my very well paid sources, this is similar to what the little robot guy turns into in the original toy, but look, I don't know much about bikes, and you might not think it's too vital on one. Especially when some 16-year-old on a farty moped undertakes you in your Fiat Punto on your way to raid the Tesco reduced section. But where's the handlebars? I suppose you could plug his gun claw thing into the port on top to sort of maybe suggest some handlebars, but that's not fooling anyone, mate, sorry. And the less said about this thing the better, honestly. I do suppose it works better than the red prostate massager that came packaged with Skywarp, and I guess they did need to come up with some sort of gimmick to help shift a few hot rods, so who am I to complain when idiots will surely buy into it anyway. All things considered though, that robot mode is really, really good. And for about 12 quid you can't really go wrong, especially compared to most of the other Transformers at this scale. He's king of Core Class Mountain, and hopefully a good sign of the quality we might see going forward in Legacy. I know I'm looking forward to how a Core Class G1 Shockwave and Skullgrin might turn out if the leaks are to be believed. And they better be. All in all, great little figure. Definitely consider pick one up if you see him out and about. Minus points of course of the alt mode, but I'm sure the G1 purists are happy enough with that, though I'm but a sweet young 90s hunk, so that means fuck all to me really. A solid 9 out of 11 from me.
HBIBWD.
Right, enough of this Hasbro Kids rubbish for a minute and take a look at these. Now I hear you. You're loud enough. You're saying, "Oh, HBIBWD, what's this tat you're peddling now?" Like you do, and right, listen. What if I told you there were other, smaller toy companies that make their own Transformers, taking legally, morally questionable inspiration from classic character designs and making, in theory, better engineered, more accurate and more expensive toy depictions of those characters? Then you'd say, "Oh, HBIBWD, I know what third-party Transformers are, I'm not stupid," in that really annoying voice you do, and well, shut up then, God you're difficult sometimes. This is Pizzeria from third-party company New Age, or I suppose the Pizzeria collectively? I don't know, we don't have individual names on the boxes. They're legend scale retools on New Age's take on Brawn and Outback into these weird little frogmen. Are they from anything? I don't remember seeing them in a G1 cartoon, and I even asked my very good personal friend Mr. New Age if they were based off anything, and he said no, not at all. They're completely original characters, and honestly, I trust him with my last slice of cheesecake, so fair enough. Let's take a look at them then, and Well, I don't know the name, so I'll just give them some for the sake of this. If you come up with any better ones, tell me in the comments, and I might ignore them completely. So this one's Rachel, she's wearing blue, breaking down gender binary barriers and all that, so you know she's got a good head on her. I mean, just look at the size of it, it's as wide as her whole body. She's got some nice little swords there, though they aren't quite sharp enough to cut a ham sandwich with, so God knows what she does with them. This one here is Ross. He's got orange on, so you know he's a mad bastard. And he's holding a couple of barbecue tongs, so you know he's always ready for a buffet. Look, I know they're not tongs, but we're not allowed to use that word in England. It's like our N-word, and I'm risking a lot just by showing them to you, so keep it on the hush hush, yeah? I mean, share the video around and, you know, like and subscribe and all that, just don't call the police or anything. I've called the red one here Chandler, and that really suits him, don't you think? Just exuding these really nerdy, kissless vibes, like yourself. He's even got to be pretentious with his choice of weapon too. A pair of Psy, mate, really? I bet you like Upstream Colour and Radiohead too, you fucking dog. Bet you any money he owns a fedora as well. And here's my favourite, HBIBWD Jr. And yeah, that's mostly because I like purple, but look. He's got a really big stick, which I'd probably pick up in a fight too, honestly. And no, he's not compensating for anything, whatever that means. They're all pretty poseable, all ball joints and swivels. We even have ab crunchies and ankle pivots, so we can get into a lot of nice action poses. Don't they look good in a group together? I mean, we should, being sold together as such, but, you know, just stop going on. I'm trying my best here. All four of them come with these little guns, but they don't really go anywhere when they're holding their other weapons, so I just chuck them in the boxes and into the cupboard they go, until the police find them after that business catches up with me. But here, look, what's this? Fold them up and they become these little gas canisters. That's right, my avid viewership, these third-party transformers do actually transform into these tiny green 4x4s. The canisters plug into their arses to complete the look. And aren't they just sweet? I can just imagine them farting around on a muddy field having a right laugh. Still not sure what 4x4s, frogs and offensive weapons have to do with pizza, but who am I to question my future best man, Mr. New Age? I will say though, I'm not a huge fan of how the arms have to plug into his little piece on the back. I always feel like I'm going to break something with how much you need to stretch and bend the plastic to get them in right, but it's holding up so far. There's not really anywhere to put the weapons whilst you're in Jeep mode either. Well, I mean, you could do this if you're insane, but you should really know better than that. I do like how the legs split apart to form the sides and wheels though, that's clever. And everything does hold together pretty well in both modes, so it's fine really. They're honestly really good, you know, cowabunga, which is probably what Bart Simpson would say if he had these. Are they worth the £80 I paid for them at the time on AliExpress though? I mean, they're pretty small, but they're sculpted, painted and engineered nicely, like most of New Age's stuff. And they are selling similar size bots for around £30 each on Omega Lot these days, so £80 for 4 of these? Sure, why not? Can I get bigger, official Hasbro toys for that sort of price? Sure, but as we all know, bigger isn't always better, isn't that right, Junior? So that was New Age Pizzeria A. That was a catchy little tune, wasn't it? I should paint with that was pretty good. HBIBWD. I was going to talk about the new Legacy Optimus, but the script wasn't clicking with me, and besides, who wants to watch a video about yet another big red and blue truck man when I can talk about some other mad thing? There's only so many times someone can say, oh, his legs turned into a bit with all the wheels on, and his chest may or may not be fake cab windows, and also the trailer's a bit shit, without everyone getting bored and clicking off onto the latest Coco Melon video, right? So we're back in third-party territory here with Toy Wolf's Dirty Man, this being the limited edition, clear black plastic version, and ooh, ain't he lovely. Maybe it's because he shares my body type, but I just love those proportions, and that sculpt work on the head is top-notch. Just full of character. Yes, like I said, he is made of translucent plastic, but as far as I can tell, he does have solid plastic, or at least thick translucent parts where it matters in the joints and such. So unless you're using him as a cricket ball, then he's not going to fall apart as easy as your emotional state after a couple cans of Stella. Of course I would say all that and then immediately snap a tab off and find a bunch of cracks whilst messing with him before filming, but I suppose that's my fault for not getting into collecting again early enough to find a solid plastic version when it was still easily available. Or maybe it's all you idiots' fault for buying clear plastic editions of existing toys and making a market for it. Either way, I'm having a nice, romantic, candlelit bath with a toaster tonight. He's slightly poseable. The nature of his figure can hinder some of the articulation though, like his belly stopping the legs from kicking out too far. relatable. But look, you can open his mouth so you can feed him cakes when you're playing tea party with all your other dollies. He also comes with his fairly pointy katana, as well as 2 samurai flag things. If you know the actual name of these, I don't really care, I'm not an historian. But feel free to flex your weeboo virgin nonsense in the comments, I'm sure somebody will be interested. He's also got a few other accessories, but we'll get to those later, so stay excited and stick around to the end, eh? Maybe like and subscribe? It's only a few minutes, come on, don't be like that. Sadly, there's no red Tengu nose or instructions printed on an actual scroll like the original toy, but he did come packed with a special t-shirt that I'll never wear outside the house. I couldn't pick the size, of course, so it came in extra large, which is about 3 extras too big for me. It does fit suspiciously well though, so I'm questioning whether I know my own body better than some tiny toy company that barely anyone has heard of. I suppose we should get to transforming then, and yeah, that's a toilet. I mean, who comes up with this stuff? Imagine being a fierce robotic warrior from a far off planet, crashing to Earth and choosing this as your disguise. Imagine sitting down for a shit and the bog bites your arsehole off. Complete the look with this plunger and some black translucent Andrex, which you can combine to make a wee ray gun for robot mode, or store away on his back to hide your shame. I guess it's time for some size comparisons then. Here's Mugi Protoman Primal, my last review New Age Pizzeria, and my next review SH Figure Arts William Shakespeare. The site I bought this from says it scales well with 6-inch figures, but let's be fair. Someone trying to drop a log in a toilet that's either too big or too small for him is always comedy gold. Unless you're recovering from COVID and have been just a few inches away from wearing a U-bend as a snorkel quite a bit more than usual, like I have at the time of writing this, but I'm sure someone's laughing. Oi, which one of you's been drinking from the Golden Lagoon? Can't even flush after yourself, it's disgusting. And that's that for Dirty Man. He's alright, pretty weird, but so are you when your mum puts up with you well enough. Good luck finding one for a decent price now though, or anything else from Toy Wolf these days. Stay jealous, I got one from Omega Lock ages ago. Do try and get the original gold plastic version if you can though, since this is about one good shelf dive away from making a new home at a recycling centre.
HBIBWD.
Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, and others have greatness thrust upon them. But he's no retro wind-up robot.
HBIBWD.
Hasbro has been knocking it out of the park with his bad purple bastards lately, except Galvatron. I don't have one, but he looks crap, and as you know, my word is gospel. This guy though, ugh, top fucking guy right here. I was a big Beast Wars fan as a kid, though I only had limited pocket money at the time, so I'd mostly only get to buy all the cheapest shelf warmers. Except for that one time I stepped into Woolworths, had a look at the Animorphs toys, and peeked over to the next aisle and saw him. Deluxe Class Tarantulas, £10, just enough to make me skint until the next weekend. Tarantulas would be my first and only main cast Beast Wars toy until I got Quick Strike soon after. Fusors was fucking cool as shit by the way. You should bring that back. Fuck G1 updates, I want a new Injector. Anyway, look, they made a new Tarantulas. Why they left it till Legacy and didn't include him in Kingdom, you know, with the rest of the other Beast Wars characters in, is beyond me, but at least it's a thing. And with Inferno not far behind too to complete the Season 1 cast. Check out those colours though, that pale metallic green give me massive lime cordial vibes. Purple has always been my favourite colour, so no complaints either. I'm not usually the biggest advocate for show accuracy or anything, but aside from a bit of yellow paint missing on his thighs, he looks like he's just ringooed out of a TV and into my sticky, arthritic hands. He comes with his old crossbow. Doesn't do anything like the original toy, but toys aren't about play features anymore. You just have to look nice on a shelf and get eyed judgingly by family and loved ones as they question whether you really have kissed anyone you're not related to before. He's also got his circular saw, a reference to Transmetal's Tarantulas. I don't know if it's my eyes, but the paint they've used on the saw looks like it's been slightly tinged purple. You can combine the two like this, but you'll get laughed at in the playground if you do, so I wouldn't recommend it. Thought you weren't allowed near playgrounds now anyway. He poses like a dream. Double hinge legs, feet that move for days, slight butterfly joints on the shoulders so he can do the Naruto run, even a waist swivel, which I honestly wasn't prepared for when I first saw the reveal images. Though of course, like many Beast Wars toys with more than 4 legs, he takes up about 3 toys worth of space on the shelf. Thankfully though, they're all ball jointed so you can just pop them off like every kid used to when they'd catch a bug, just watch its body squirm, pure instinct. Wondering if it actually felt pain or fear through its life before singeing the remains with a stolen Bic lighter. You know, that staple childhood activity. Transformation is nice and simple, at least compared to Kingdom Black Arachnia. She's not complex, but I did it once and never wanted to do it again. Plus in her alt mode you can't see her, she looks much better in robot mode. So yeah, here's Tarantulas. Oh fuck, shit, fuck, ugh. And that's Tarantulas, probably the best figure from Legacy so far, probably the best Beast Wars related figure so far, aside from Cyber Shark. Everybody loves Cyber Shark. Why won't you just take a moment out of your miserable little existence and have a look at Armorhide here? This little bundle of boys are repainted 2005's Cybertron Armorhide with a 2007 live action movie tie-in line. Because Hasbro had to fill out the waves somehow without farting out like 7 different toys of each of the movie's cast, and who'd want to buy even one ratchet? Ugh. But enough about cinematic embarrassments, just bask in the sweet blocky form of Armorhide here. I do really like the original paint job of the Cybertron incarnation, but the hard black and industrial yellow of this lad gives off this really endearing vibe that this adorable little chunker is trying to look as rock hard as possible, like those squeaky preteen boys you see terrorising the local Tesco, wearing full black tracksuits and balaclavas in 30-degree heat. I really love the very rare upside down front of the vehicle chest, and the wheel traps making him look like a shrunken headed Brian Cage. Oddly enough, I also love his wee feet. For the transformation they could have easily had those shitty little flappy feet to fold out, but nah, not here. 2 big grey chunks of plastic, perfect. He does come with some extra tat if that's not enough for you. Like this fuck off massive cannon, looking like Danny DeVito holding a hot dog in one hand. It's got a wee hook on the end you can twiddle about to your heart's content, and some clips to slide this Cyberplanet key into. Being a Cybertron toy in nature, boff it up his back door and boom. He lifts his top up like it's Mardi Gras and shows off 8 of the best little titties Transformers has to offer. The missiles do pop out a little bit when inserting a key, but sadly they can't fire off and send your little sister to the ophthalmologist. Now it's obvious to see that Armorhide will transform into a first generation Volvo FH Globetrotter, but like most Transformers at this sort of size, it's fun and simple getting there. Bend his arms back like Naruto, tuck his head in and scrunkle his legs up, flip him upside down and bam, the tiny truck cab of your dreams. Wham the cannon on the back to give him a wee crane and you're laughing. You can even stuff the Cyberplanet key in there to flash for jaywalkers before you turn them into Passata. We're in peak desk toy territory here. There's just something about these little truck fellas that tickles something in my brain that makes my amazing, privileged life just a tiny bit happier before you come around and ruin things of course. Go back to 2007 and grab this guy for around a £5, or get on eBay and spend £22 on one like I did. Do what you like, I don't care, fuck off would you? Right, enough messing about. Enough of those PulseCon reveals. Animated Bumblebee, bin it. Tigerhawk, get help. It's Blot's time to shine now, and that's the way I serve dinner on my channel, alright. This design is like if Hasbro had a checklist of all the stupid stuff I like and made it into a toy just for me. Purple, yes sir. Bit chunky, oh yes. Weird goblin ogre thing, put it in and around my mouth thank you. It's like they know me, and usually that means bad news, but in this case we just made a good toy for people like me with termites in their brains and money on the Monzo card. Look long and hard at Blot here. Those colours, the deep dark purple and the nice pasty lilac broken up with the 80s Robobabble in the silver, red and yellow chest. And yeah, he is built like a kind of spam with legs, but if you were this handsome, you wouldn't be fucking complaining, wouldn't you? And yes, before you ask, those claws are just big enough to wank you off. Just. He comes with this little gun that you can pop onto this strut in his back, and some other thing, but you can ignore that, alright. Transformation is nice and fun. I especially like the way you fold his thumbs in to bring the fists out, and look how he cleans up. The waffling and hollowness is pretty minimal for a Prime Wars toy.
And look at that head sculpt. That's your dad, and he's my boyfriend, so that's 2 dads. Aren't you lucky? And that's not all, because Blot here is a member of the Terracons, a combined team of other monster lads that form the aptly named Abominus. So he can also turn into an arm, or a leg, if you're that sort of sick. But I'm not, because I don't have any of his mates since you all look a bit shite, and the shite I like is a different kind of shite to that shite. Right, okay, I'll talk about it. This Blot is from 2017's Power of the Primes line, so yes, he does come with some prime armour, so yeah, straight in the bin. But then I learned you could use the little filler piece that pops off as a little gun, and honestly I don't hate it, so yeah, out of a bin. But then you see what it looks like when you actually use it as prime armour, and yep, you fucked it again, Hasbro, cheers. Smack my one and only Prime Master in there to complete the scrap heap papoose look and pray that there's a god to forgive your sins. You can also flip out some fingers to make this big stupid hand for Abominus, but if you're anything like me, you don't give a single shit about combiners and would rather gnaw on some tarmac during rush hour than buy another 4 or 5 shitty toys to have another 2 foot tall midlife crisis taking up shelf space. At the very least, it doesn't look awful plugging into the back of the monster mode. It's got enough chunk in the trunk there, so what's a couple more centimetres of plastic gonna do? Ask your mum for me. So, is Blot perfect? No. Is Blot perfect for me? Yeah. Do you have Blot in your collection? Do you have a weird favourite like him? Tell your therapist. Or better yet, like and subscribe. Maybe even comment, and who knows, maybe you can see more of my videos in the future, you fucking freak.